Hey there, welcome back to another video. Just like last time, my name is Nick. Let's get into it. I got my notes right here like always. This time for another Journeyman career video. The topic of this one, Ryan Fitzpatrick of NFL fame. He was drafted in the 7th round, 250th overall of the 2005 draft by the St. Louis Rams out of Harvard. He was the last quarterback selected in that year's draft. There were 14 quarterbacks selected. He was number 14. He signed his entry-level contract on July 18th of 2005 with the St. Louis Rams. It was a 3-year deal, and going into that 2005 season, he was the third-string quarterback, but would eventually become the backup due to injury problems the Rams were facing that year. In his rookie season, he played 4 games. 3 of those games he started, and in those starts he had 0 wins and 3 losses. He had 76 completions on 135 pass attempts. He threw for 777 yards, had 4 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. When it came to running the ball, he had 14 carries for 64 yards, had 2 rushing touchdowns. He was sacked 9 times and lost 49 yards on those sacks. In 2006, he played 1 game, had 3 rushing attempts for 0 yards, and that was it for the entire season. So I'm assuming those 3 rushing attempts were probably him just kneeling the ball at the end of a game. On September 1st of 2007, he was traded to the Cincinnati Bengals for a 7th round pick in the 2008 draft. In the 2007 season, his first with the Bengals, he played 1 game, had 0 recorded stats. That was it. In 2008, Carson Palmer was dealing with an elbow injury, which would mean Ryan Fitzpatrick would get a lion's share of the starts that season. He played 13 games in 2008. 12 of those he started, had a record of 4-7-1. Yep, they had a tie that year. Had 221 completions on 372 pass attempts, threw for 1,905 yards, had 8 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. When it came to running that ball, he had 60 carries, 304 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. He was sacked 38 times and lost 193 yards on those sacks. On February 27th of 2009, he signed a 3-year deal worth $7.4 million with the Buffalo Bills. In his first season in Buffalo, which was the 2009 season, he played 10 games, had 8 starts, went 4-4 in those starts, had 127 completions on 227 pass attempts, had 1,422 passing yards with 9 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Rushing that year, he had 31 carries for 141 yards, 1 touchdown, sacked 21 times, and lost 127 yards on those sacks. Going into the 2010 season, Fitzpatrick was demoted to the backup behind Trent Edwards. But once the Bills started that season 0-2 with Edwards as the quarterback, they switched to Fitzpatrick, and he started the rest of the games that season. He played 13 games, started all 13, had a record of 4-9. He had 255 completions on 441 attempts, threw for an even 3,000 yards that season, had 23 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. When it came to running, he had 40 carries for 269 yards, did not have a rushing touchdown, was sacked 24 times, and lost 145 yards on those sacks. In 2011, he started all 16 games for Buffalo, had a record of 6-10, had 353 completions on 569 attempts, had 3,832 passing yards, and went for 24 touchdowns and led the league that year with 23 interceptions. When it came to running, he had 56 carries, 215 yards, 0 rushing touchdowns, was sacked 22 times, and lost 148 yards on those sacks. 2012 was another year that he started all 16 games for the Bills, had another record of 6-10. So over the 2 years, had a record of 12 wins and 20 losses. Had 306 completions on 505 attempts, threw for 3,400 yards, had 24 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. He ran the ball 48 times that year for 197 yards with 1 rushing touchdown, and was sacked 30 times for 161 yards lost. On March 18th, 2013, he signed a 2-year deal with the Tennessee Titans. He made his debut that season in Week 4, coming in for an injured Jake Locker. Anybody else remember Jake Locker? Because I do. Unfortunately, he does not qualify for the Journeyman video series. In 2013, he played 11 games, had 9 starts, and had a record of 3-6. He had 217 completions on 350 pass attempts, threw for 2,454 yards, had 14 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Rushing, he had 43 carries, 225 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, which up to this point is the highest he's had in a single season, was sacked 21 times, and lost 109 yards on those sacks. On March 14th of 2014, just shy of a year after he signed that contract with the Titans, he was released in favor of Charlie Whitehurst. Charlie Whitehurst was who the Titans decided would be a better option for quarterback than Ryan Fitzpatrick. Anybody know what college Charlie Whitehurst went to? I believe it was Clemson. 4 days after being released, he signed a contract with the Houston Texans. In 2014, he played 12 games, started all 12 of them, had a record of 6-6, had 197 completions on 312 passing attempts, had 2,483 passing yards, 17 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Ran the ball 50 times that year, had 184 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, was sacked 21 times for a loss of 83 yards. On March 11th of 2015, he was traded to the New York Jets for a late conditional pick in 2015. That was all I could find. I could not find an actual round or pick number. It just said a late round conditional pick. So I don't know what ever came of that pick. But in 2015, his first season with the Jets, he played all 16 games as the starter, had a record of 10-6, had 335 completions on 562 attempts, threw for 3,905 yards, had 31 touchdowns and 15 interceptions that year. I do believe that 31 touchdowns ends up being his career high for a single season, but I could be mistaken. Rushing the ball that year, he had 60 carries for 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, and was sacked 19 times for a loss of 94 yards. To follow up this pretty good season for a Jets team that was already kind of bad, getting into these like mid-2010 years, he came back, played 14 games in 2016, had 11 starts, and a record of 3-8. He had 228 completions on 403 attempts, threw for 2,710 yards, had 12 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. Rushing, he had 33 carries, 130 yards, 0 touchdowns, was sacked 19 times, and lost 81 yards. On May 19th, he signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a 1-year contract, and he didn't play for the first time until Week 6 when Jameis Winston suffered a shoulder injury. His 2017 stats are: he played 6 games, 3 of those he was the starter, had a record of 2-1, had 96 completions on 163 yards. Pause. 96 completions on 163 attempts for 1,103 yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He rushed 15 times, had 78 yards, 0 touchdowns. I'm just all over the place right now. He was sacked 7 times and lost 34 yards on those sacks. He signed a 1-year extension in March of 2018 to return to the Buccaneers, and in 2018 he played 8 games, had 7 starts, had a record of 2-5, had 164 completions on 246 attempts, threw for 2,366 yards, had 17 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. He ran the ball 36 times, had 152 rushing yards, had 2 rushing touchdowns, and was sacked 14 times and lost 76 yards on those sacks. On March 18th, he signed a 2-year deal with the Dolphins, where he was named the starter over Josh Rosen. In 2019, he played 15 games, started 13 of them, had a record of 5 wins, 8 losses, had 311 completions on 502 attempts, had 3,529 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, ran for 54 carries on 243 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, 40 sacks, and lost 209 yards on those 40 sacks. In 2020, still with the Miami Dolphins, he played 9 games, had 7 starts, had a record of 4-3 in 7 starts, had 183 completions for 267 attempts. He had 2,091 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. He ran the ball 30 times that year, had 151 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 114 sacks, and 65 yards lost on those sacks. On March 18th, 2021, he signed a 1-year deal with the Washington football team. It's the reason I'm wearing this hat, because I had it and I don't know if I will ever have another reason to wear a Washington football team hat. He started the season off but suffered a hip subluxation in the second quarter and spent the rest of the season on the IR. So his 2021 stat line reads: 1 game played, 1 start, a record of 0-1, 3 completions on 6 attempts for 13 yards. He did not have a passing touchdown or throw an interception that year. He ran the ball 1 time for 2 yards, 0 touchdowns. He was then sacked and lost 2 yards. That would be the last time Ryan Fitzpatrick would take the field as an NFL quarterback. On June 2nd, 2022, Ryan Fitzpatrick announced his retirement after 17 seasons. Give me 1 second. I just got to flip back because I forgot to write his career stats down, so they're on a page up here. So for his career, he played 166 games, had 147 starts, had a career record of 59 wins, 87 losses, and 1 tie, which was that tie all the way back in 2008 with the Bengals. He had 3,027 completions on 5,060 attempts, threw for 34,990 yards, had 223 touchdowns to 169 interceptions. For his rushing stats for his career, he had 575 carries for 2,623 rushing yards, had 21 rushing touchdowns. He was sacked exactly 300 times in his career and lost 1,576 yards from sacks. Some interesting little facts about him. In his entire 17 years of playing in the NFL, he never once made it to the playoffs. Do with that information what you will. And he holds the record for beating the same opponent, which in this case is the Jacksonville Jaguars, as the starter of 6 different teams. So I'm pretty sure Jacksonville is pretty happy they don't have to deal with him anymore. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, see you later.